go, mate.
Right then, Macca and Beats. We're back.
Beats.
All right, an important one. They're all important, but this is really important to me. It's one of my oldest friends, Albie, Aaron Wilbraham. But let's start with us trying to split the G, boys, yeah?
Yeah.
I'll go first.
I'm available for a split of G, mate. Enjoy.
Thirsty boy.
A bit thirsty.
Boy.
Let's have a look. It's not bad.
That might raise up.
Am I next, yeah?
After you.
Let's go.
Master. Has he done
How's
it?
that looking?
He's not done too bad there, you know.
Here we go then.
That'll rise, though.
Cheers, boys.
I think... Oh, hang on.
I can't be too bad.
Oh, not enough, maybe. Joe, can we get a little zoom in on that, please? Because that is... Woohoo! That is bang on, surely.
I'm not sure.
Oh, man, look. See? Just admit, because I've done it on camera. He's jealous, Joe. Macca.
Nah, it's good. I'm having it, mate.
Come
That's
on.
good. Yeah,
Good
okay,
going.
there's
To be fair,
AI
let's have a look.
between it now. Now there is now.
Look.
Yeah, he has done it, to be fair.
He's done it, mate.
One more, Joe. Winners win.
We'll give it in.
Thank you for having us, mate.
Really appreciate it.
Where are we? Wilbur's Bar? Wilbur's Wine Bar?
So this is my old double garage. So in lockdown, like a lot of people did, decided to build a bar. It was a choice between a gym and a bar. And it was, literally ready in lockdown, just as Boris shut all the pubs. And it was, I'm sure it was either the day or the day after that Boris decided to close all the pubs. I thought, you can't close my pub, pal. So yeah, it's been open since 2020.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
I've had a few quid, Annie Macca.
This is beautiful, mate. Yeah, what a spot.
And we've got a few nice shirts, memorabilia.
Yeah, no, it's nice to get a few shirts up. I always collected them over the years, obviously, and always dreamt of having a bit of a games room, got the pool table, and you've had some good nights in there as well, haven't you, mate?
Great night, Super Sundays.
Super Sundays, watching the football with the boys.
We'll have a good night later as well, hopefully. You look well, mate. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like bigging you up too much, as you know, because it goes on your head. It goes to your head, doesn't it? What are you doing to keep fit, mate? Look good.
To be fair, I think when I went into coaching at Shrewsbury Town in lockdown, and everyone put on a few pounds in lockdown, didn't they, boys? But I went up to about 102 kg, and my playing weight was always around 89 kg, and I thought, wow, and my clothes were all getting a bit tight, and I just decided, I think it was January 2022, I always do dry January anyway, I just stayed on it that year, and I got back down to my playing weight, and I'm literally around 89, 90 kg now, and it's so hard to lose it and get back into that you're always then scared of putting it back on, and I just keep myself in a similar routine than what I did when I was playing, Monday to Friday, because I always had to be like dedicated, eat the right foods, train well. I try and go gym 2-3 times a week, and I've been playing a lot of paddle, not the paddle tennis that everyone's playing. So yeah,
Paddle guy, yeah.
Isn't that just like what footballers who retire do now?
it's such a good game, boys. So addictive. But no, I do enjoy it, because I'm not one of these lads who likes going to the gym and running on the treadmill or battering the stepper or the cross trainer. So. And I need that competitive edge. Obviously, I haven't played all my career.
Is it good cardio, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you get up to a good level, might take you boys a while.
Yeah.
But no, in a 90-minute game, which you can play 60 or 90, I always play 90. I'm burning about 1,400 calories. Yeah, so, yeah.
Fair enough.
It's a good blow. And you get a dab on playing it, and it's such a good game. So tactical. It's a 2v2 game, and you can just rock up, meet new people. It's good for networking, and it's fastest growing sport in the world, boys. So yeah, get involved.
Let's believe so. So obviously that's keeping you fit because you're no longer playing. So you've been retired now about 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years. Lockdown retired me.
It did. Talk to me. What's one thing I wanted to ask you? Because obviously the season kind of ended, didn't it, in March abruptly because of COVID, and then the Premiership and everything relaunched, didn't it, in like July, and they played everything within 2 months. What happened? Were you at Rochdale at the time? Yeah,
so obviously March 2020 lockdown happened. I was contracted till the end of July by Rochdale, and it's a little bit, because it got took out of my hands, my retirement is a little bit like, not bitter about it, because it probably needed to be took out of my hands, because I'd still be out there in my Zimmer frame now running about. But no, I think my main aim was to get to 40. And I did that in the October 2019. Everything after that was a bonus. But for it to be took out of my hands was a little bit gutting, because it wasn't like I was not playing at Rochdale. I think the last game that I played for Rochdale, we actually beat Rotherham 3-1. They were top of the league, and they got promoted off, because remember it went on points per game. Everything got decided on points per game, and Rotherham got promoted off the back of that, and we stayed up off the back of that. So people talk about the Bolton goal that I scored to keep them up, but actually that game that I played in the 3-1 win against Rotherham, we ended up staying up off the back of that above Tranmere, who got relegated, and no one will remember it because it wasn't like that last day action, but it was just something that got decided. Yeah, so it wasn't like I was a bit part player. I was still starting games. I played 90 minutes that day, so I still continued to do all the Strava running and all the program that the fitness coaches were giving us. But by the time football started back up in July, like you say, not many people wanted to take a 40-year-old who was nearly 41.
Was there any options?
There was Grimsby, and nothing against Grimsby, by the way, even though I always voted it my worst away ground because it was just a horrible place to go and get a result. Not a horrible place in general, but all the fans wave inflatable fishes about. It's a bit of a dreary. It always seemed to be raining and misty and dark there. And then I scored there for MK Dons, to be fair. I think I scored a couple, but it was always, I'd done my travelling about and my living away from the family, and I didn't want to be having to travel to Grimsby every day. I wanted a local one. There's a lot of clubs in the northwest where I'm from. And at the same time as getting that offer is when I got offered the assistant manager job at Shrewsbury Town. So I decided, I am nearly 40. Well, I was 41 by this point. So yeah, there was that offer, but yeah, and the body was feeling it a little bit. And I thought, do you know what? Like I did want to go in at Shrewsbury's like player assistant manager, but Steve Cottrell, who was the gaffer at the time, was kind of like, although I do need a striker, he was like, if the fans turn a little bit and you're the assistant manager, it's like a bit of an added, which I get from his point of view, but I would have been able to handle that. I think I would have been able to win the fans over, and I was still joining in training with the lads, and all the boys were like, Albie, you need to register. So I still missed playing, but it was probably the right time. And like I said, got to 40, which was a massive achievement for me. So yeah, I was happy to call it a day.
You've just said about coming to the end of your career there. Did you always want to go down that avenue to coach, to get into maybe management, or was it just coaching, that side of it?
Yeah, to be fair, I never really fancied the coaching side of it. And I think because I got to an age where I'd seen the other side of the game, because I'd played till I was 40. So I had 3 managers during my career where I was older than the manager, which is a bit of an awkward situation. Yeah. So I had Carl Robinson at MK Dons, who's now the Salford manager. Yeah. He was a couple of years younger than me. I had Lee Johnson at Bristol City, and I had Brian Barry Murphy, who's now the Cardiff gaffer, at Rochdale. So each time they'd confided in me about things off the field and board things. So it put me off. And I'd seen the way people like, to be fair, Steve Cottrell, my old gaffer at Bristol City, I'd seen the way he'd been treated at Bristol City after getting him promoted, getting the sack next minute, keeping Birmingham up, getting the sack. And it's so volatile. And also you're living all around the country away from your family, which I did for 24 years. So average football career is 8 years. I trebled that and did 24 years. And I didn't really want to be, I wanted to go into something different. But people kept telling me, because I played for so long, do your B licence, do your A licence, because someone will offer you a job because you're trustworthy and you've got a good reputation. So I did them almost by default, thinking I'll just do them for the sake of doing them. And as it turns out, in lockdown, when everybody was struggling to get a job and there wasn't money in football, I did get offered a job as coaching. So I'm glad I did them. And I enjoyed the 2.5 years that I did at Shrewsbury Town. But my passion was always to go into the football agent side, which is what I'm doing now. Yeah,
so I was going to ask you about that. So you've gone into the agency. I remember asking you back in the days, like, why do you get in? I was trying to settle the agency.
Yeah.
And you always said to me that it's not something you'd get into because you can't go back into football after that. It'd be good to know what you're doing now exactly from an agency point of view and where you're at. But just explain that to me, because I remember that comment sticks in my mind.
So my point with that was, I think it's hard to try and be an agent and then go and have a coaching career. It's a little bit, football's very much like agents are looked at as a bit of the dark side of football. And so I think I did it the right way around, because I went down the coaching route, tried that, enjoyed it, but my passion was always the agent side. So in 2023, Shrewsbury let me and Steve Cottrell go. And while I still had some money coming in from a pay up that I was getting, I decided to take my agent exam. So did it off my own back. Sorry, boys. So did the agent exam off my own back without speaking to any agencies, just did the revision, booked my exam, paid for my license. I managed to pass the exam first time, which then enabled me to go and approach agencies and tell them that I've had a 24-year playing career, 3-year coaching career, and I've now got my license to be an agent. So yeah, and obviously I always knew it was going to be a tough task, because I think in 2015 there was 516 agents. 10 years down the line is like over 5,000. So
I remember you telling us when you were doing the exam, there was everyone fancies the chances at it, because when you're doing the exam, there was loads in there, weren't there?
Yeah.
I remember you thinking, Jesus, what's going on here? Why does everyone want to be an agent?
Yeah, it was at the NEC in Birmingham, and there was over 1,500 people in this room taking the exam, and it was just, it's so competitive. But I think my selling point is, especially to the younger players when I'm meeting them and the parents, is that I don't beg them to come with me as an agent. I say, it's your choice. Make sure, and the two things I say to the young player and the parents is, make sure your son's got a relationship with the agent, but make sure they've had a football background, because I think it's important that the agents had a football background. Because they're going to get, I know for a fact, any players I take on, any position they find themselves in, whether it's being injured, playing in any of the 4 leagues, I've got my UEFA A and B license, like I said. I feel that I'm best equipped to guide them in the right way in any position they find themselves in. I would have been there at some point. Yeah. I'd dealt with off the field stuff, parents passing away. I lost my dad 6 months before my career started. I lost my mum 6 months before my career ended. So I've dealt with the off the field stuff, girlfriends, getting in a bit of trouble when I was younger, all those types of stuff. Feeling a bit insecure, feeling not really fancied by the manager, being left out of squads, being ostracised from squad. Like, so all these things, I just think,
associate with it.
Yeah. And I get a little bit of a passion when I speak to the youngsters about it, because I've been in the coaching side of it as well. And I've seen young lads not fulfill the potential when they've had a good chance to. I'm not hard on my players, but I'll never pussyfoot around my players, because if I don't tell them how it is, and I learnt this a lot from Steve Cottrell, to be fair to him. The one thing about Steve Cottrell is people think he's a bit intense and a bit hard and a bit harsh, but you always know where you stand with him, and you can never call him false, never call him fake. He is a true football man, and he'll always tell you how it is. And I've took a little bit of that into my agent side with my players, because if I watch them for 2-3 games and I feel like they're not quite at it and not being big time, but not really giving 100% effort, and the body language is bad, I'm thinking how that looks to scouts and opposition managers, and it doesn't look good. So I need to snap that out of their like makeup straight away. Because if they're going to have a good career, which is good for me if they have a good career, but I'm doing it more for them because I see that they've got everything else and they need to brush up on a few things. So I'll tell them, and if that means that they might fall out on me and leave me to go with another agent, so be it, because they'll be being told the same things off coaches and agents further down the line. And they might think, do you know what, Albie was helping me when he was telling me that. And I've had that done to me by hard, firm managers. And always, it took me to get to an age to think they were trying to help me. And do you know what? They're the one, you end up respecting the ones that are a bit firmer with you because you're thinking they're doing it for me. And I'm very like that in the agency.
But I suppose these lads are getting it from an agent, a bit of a niche type of role you've got, because agents are obviously going to get them the look after them from a contractual financial point of view and make sure they're looked after. But to have that, look, if you want to get the contracts, get that, they get the mentor element from you as well. So that's a good niche, isn't it?
No, I feel that so I work for MSG, Murdoch Sports Group. Colin Murdoch's the owner, who's also a player, had 450, 500 games. And he's been doing it 14 years. He's had the company for 14 years. Many agencies, so-called bigger agencies, have tried to buy him out, but he's happy being a smaller independent agency. And he's always done well. Scott McTominay is our biggest client. He's had Scott since he was 14. And Colin is not only, he's an ex-player, FIFA licensed agent, same as I am, but he's a fully qualified lawyer, chartered accountant, financial advisor. So he brings all that legal side and all that kind of advisory side. And whereas I bring the 24 years worth of playing, the coaching, the management, and it's a good balance when we meet people, and it's authentic, and it's you almost feel like when you sat in these meetings, like, I hope these parents and these kids and these players believe us, because we're not bluffing. And there's a lot of bluffers out there, and there will be a lot of agents who just tell you all the best things just to get you to sign that contract, and then it's like, look at the draw. So yeah, I feel we provide a really good service, and I tell the players, shop around, speak to a lot of agents, because I did. When I was coming to work for an agency, I made sure I spoke to 3 or 4.
Right.
4 or 5. Because I wanted to make sure that where I was going to had a good reputation, and that my reputation I'd kept in football wasn't just going to be ruined by going into a building with the wrong type of people. So I tell people to do the same when they're doing it.
So you're enjoying it? Is it everything you imagined, expected, being an agent? Yeah,
don't get me wrong. Anybody could wake up tomorrow and decide to do their agent exam and be a football agent. But even for someone like me who's got the experience, the career, the management, all the things I've just spoke about, it's still hard to get people to buy in, because people have got this thing about agent. You always feel like you're trying to, you feel like you're lying to people even when you're not, and it's like because they've got this.
It's like that
tag stigma.
Not a great word. There's like a snakes. Snakes.
What are you after? And it's like, no, I've done this. I'm trying to be a bit of a hybrid and a bit different to what's been in the past. But because there is a lot of bluffers and a lot of people out there, you understand why they feel that. But I hope that they see through that. And that's why I'll have a meeting with people, speak to them. And I probably need to be a little bit more of a pest and a bit more persistent, because I've never had to be like that. But you have to be a little bit, but I leave it with people for them to come at me, because I want them to want to work with me. I don't want me to have to beg them, because then if that's the case, it's not really going to work. I want them to see what my vision and come on board. And then once they're on board, within 2-3 months of working with me, they'll know that it's the right thing to do.
Perfect, yeah.
Is it just kind of families who want the best for their lads, for example? Or do you get any, have you dealt or coming across, let's say like a Rashford, for example, his brothers are involved, or these footballers, they have these entourages, don't they, that are trying to pull strings, but they've not got the experience. Have you experienced any of that since doing this, where the families are trying to push it a certain way or something like that?
I do think some of the time, and this doesn't relate to any players that I represent, but I do think that some parents want it more than the actual kids. The parents see the kids as a meal ticket to go on there. And it's got, for me, I would take 10 lads who've got the right attitude and dedication and determination, rather than a lad who's got 10 times more talent than them 10. Because I know I can make those 10, if they've got the will to win, the dedication, and a little bit of adversity when things aren't going well to dig in, they'll do for me all day.
That was what you were based on, basically.
And that's probably because I know that's important, but also, and you see it, you see lads who are like the next best thing, and lads who aren't really thought much of, and they end up catching up, because they've got that grit, and they've got I've cracked it. And it's like, I seen it so many times as a player. Lads come down to clubs I was at. So I'd be at Stockport County, where we get lads from City and United and Liverpool on loan. And I'd see them come in and kind of turn their nose up at the training ground and think that it was going to be an easy level for them. And all of a sudden they got a bit of a wake up call, and it was like, ooh. So yeah, Again, it comes back to the fact that I know what it takes. So as long as they've got that right attitude, then I'm all in with them and they're all in with me.
Is it a lot of dealing with the parents, is it, Albie, or do you deal with the players more direct? Because I know, like, it's massive now, football, so, like, the parents will obviously have a massive say in everything. So.
Yeah. With the younger players, it's more parents that you're speaking to as well as the players, and you're developing that relationship with the younger players. And then they get to an age where it's like the parent contact becomes less, which a lot of them are like, oh, I'm happy because they've drove them round for years and supported them and tried to speak to them about football, and hormonal teenagers like, what? Like, do you know what I mean? To the mum and dad just grunting at them. And I'm like, don't worry about that, because I get told the same thing of all the parents. It's no problem. But then it's about, you've got to, I like the fact that the parents are involved because it's good support network. I look back to what I had compared to this is what I think amazes me so much, because I look at these 16-year-olds now and they've got a really supportive mum and dad who are willing to do anything for their careers. They've got an agent, which I didn't have at 16. They've got like PE teachers and good school, like, who are supporting them, and they've got this great support network. And I'm like, come on, mate, like, you've got everything. Whereas at that time, my dad was in prison. I didn't have it. I had now, but pure grit. And so I, if anything, I just want them to have a bit more, like, it's a little bit more like, you've got everything, mate, but you haven't got everything. You need to dig in, because it can soon be snapped from you. So I think that's what I can bring, really, and that kind of, and the good thing is, when I speak, I feel confident in my advice, because there's nothing worse than feeling like you're bluffing something. When I'm giving this advice and I'm saying these things, I'm like, they do listen. And I had dad say to me, I'm so grateful for you, Aaron, because sometimes I'll say that and they'll look at me, but when you say the things you say, they hang off you every word and they really listen to you. So no, it's good. I enjoy the mentor side of it, to be honest. I'm enjoying them more with the younger players, because I'm moulding them and shaping them into good, young, hungry lads, which I think if you look at a lot of football, young lads now, they've got a bit of a swag, and
they get a lot early, don't they?
Yeah, and I'm like, I know I'll start to get a reputation off football clubs, hopefully, that, let's get another one of Aaron Wilbraham's lads, because I know they're going to be a good lad, because he'll drive that into him, and that's what I try and do.
Are you seeing potential to earn big in this industry?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, obviously, the better your players do, the more money you will earn, because you get a percentage of the salary. But at the moment,
so you're not calling Saudi Arabia any point soon?
at the moment, I've been doing it for 18 months. And like I say, with the younger players, it's more about mentoring and shaping them for the future. Do you know what I mean? Slow burners and help.
Generation.
Yeah. And if any of them go on to do unbelievably well, it's great for them, great for the families, and hopefully great for me, and then make some good money off it, and see how it goes. But I'm doing it because I'm still involved in football. I'm still watching football, going to 4 or 5 games a week, which I love doing anyway. And I'm getting it, like, when I'm watching, it's like watching your son. Like, you feel every tackle and every bad touch and every good pass, and every time they score and every time they lose, and you feel all those emotions. So you go and watch games, and once your player gets subbed or he's not playing, like, you're ready to go, because it's like when you watch your kids, really. So I'm enjoying that side of it, because I feel a bit of a passion for it like that.
Nice. And obviously, so let's say, what's the main aim of your role as an agent then? Is it to go and find, you've heard on the grapevine, there's a good player out there, and you'll go and watch them and you'll try and get them to join the agency? Or are you negotiating salaries at clubs, sponsorships, them type of things?
Yeah,
what is it you exactly doing? Like, just give us a clearer picture.
So sponsorships and stuff come for the more established players. Once they've got established, you get offers coming in, and I've seen those type of things from the outside with the likes of Scott McTominay and stuff, and Colin will deal with those, because Colin's always been Scott's agent. So I've experienced it from afar. For me, I'm still learning all the negotiating side, which I've done. I've done negotiations with clubs, and I've got lads better contracts and moves to other clubs where I've got better money, and I've loved that side of it. But 85% of my players at the moment are young lads where it's scholarship wages, which is the same throughout the country. And I've got a few established players, which I've done well for as well. So yeah, I'm still learning. I'm still enjoying every minute of it. Been doing it about 18 months, like I say. But yeah, that's where I'm at the moment, and I'm enjoying it. That's the main thing.
Better work-life balance than being a player and a coach then? Because I'm guessing you still have to get about.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of miles, it's a lot of games, a lot of late nights, but you are in charge of your own diary a little bit more. You can arrange meetings, you look at kickoffs, you look at where your players are playing each week, and you just arrange your diary off that, really. So yeah, a little bit more at home than I have been playing everywhere and coaching, but yeah.
Guess it's good still being around football, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you really miss it when you finished your career, Aaron, like football-wise, like the dressing rooms and stuff like that, did you?
Yeah, always missed the dressing room because the band, like, I used to love going in every day to like a set of 25 lads and just having a banter about what people are wearing and just.
You've always been the ringleader, haven't you?
Yeah, I've always been at the hub of the banter, what's going on or things like that. So I do miss that. But in terms of playing, I think I knew my body was ready to finish. Like I got to 40, which was the main aim. So yeah, I don't miss that side. I don't miss playing. I'm quite happy. Like I say, playing a bit of paddle, going to the gym, and yeah, no, I don't miss playing because I feel like not completed, not like, do you know what I mean? But I feel like I'm at peace with what I achieved in my career. Whereas if I would have retired at 31, 32, I wouldn't have been. But like I say, from 31 to 40, I felt better in myself fitness-wise, but I played at a higher level, earned more money than I did 18 to 30, which should probably never happen. Bit of a laugh about, it took a pandemic to retire me.
It's changed the world on a big time.
So
yeah, we've kind of touched upon your retirement, but we've got to go back in time. So you've had over 700 appearances, 147 goals at professional level.
Some career.
All from open play,
All from open play, yeah.
No penalties.
No penalties, no free kicks.
Just a couple of penalty shootouts.
Yeah, took 3 in shootouts, scored all 3, so I'm happy with that. 1 in the playoff semi-final for MK Dons, 1 in a Rochdale Papa John's game, and the important one at the Stretford end at Old Trafford in the Carling Cup third round.
Pogba shirt.
Yeah. Can we get a little zoom in on that, Joe? It was my first game back from injury as well, because I'd pulled my calf pre-season. So I was buzzing to be back for that game. Obviously, didn't want to miss that one. And yeah, when it went to penalties, I wanted to take one. I knew I had to score because I've got so many mates who were United fans and obviously so many mates who were City fans. So sent the keeper the wrong way. And I think if I missed that penalty, United went through. So it was big pressure.
Oh yeah, it was.
And then Daniel James had to score then to send United through, which he did. But it was a great experience for the Rochdale lads to play against a team like United, obviously Pogba, everybody else who played that night. And yeah, we had a good couple of cup runs that year, and we got Newcastle in the third round of the FA Cup as well. So yeah,
How did you that one? Did you
scored in that one as well, mate? Yeah.
But Old Trafford, I remember you saying at the time, the best pitch you've ever played on.
I think you've just made that up, mate.
No, you definitely said it.
No, it was September one. Yeah. It was early doors. No, it was a great pitch. I'd say
you hadn't played there professionally though.
No,
it was a final tick in a way, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I was in the squad for Norwich against United at Old Trafford, but I didn't get on the bench. So I was like 19th man, which you never want to be, but fair enough. But yeah, to get to play there, it was a bit of a final tick. And I think I said earlier, so it was the last goal that my mum seen me score live, that penalty. And the first goal she seen me score was at Main Road on my debut in 1998. Yeah. So to see me score September 2019, what's that, 21 years apart, was just madness.
Tough year for you that, in general, wasn't it? We had, big year, turn 40.
Yeah.
So September, score at Old Trafford. October, turn 40. December.
Yeah, so my mum got told around, would have been around the start of November. So like you say, that was the last game she came to because she was poorly with cancer. And my mum was my biggest rock throughout my life. My dad got sent to prison when I was 4, left my mum with 3 kids on her own. My dad came out of prison, died when I was 16, and my mum was just a rock to the whole family, absolute legend. And supported me throughout my career. And she came to the last game in September, came to my 40th, which was at the Etihad in October. she always loved to host bonfire night, which she did in November, but was quite poorly. And passed away December the 6th, 2019. So big year. And then you get the lockdown thing 3-4 months later. So massive kind of 6 months really when you think about it. But like we still get together on my mum's anniversary every year. The family, it's been 6 years now. We still get together on her birthday, June the 25th, because she loved the game of rounders. You'll remember we went to the same primary school, and she used to bowl the ball at lunchtime, dinner lady, for rounders games. So we always have a game of rounders on her birthday every year, June 25th, and we always get together on her anniversary of passing away, December the 6th, and still celebrate like she wanted us to.
If we do go back in time, so I remember growing up with you always bigger than everyone else. Talk to us about kind of why you think you made it, and how, when you started kicking a ball, how the trials came, etc.
Yeah, so I think from the age of 4 or 5, I always had a ball at my feet. It's a bit of an old cliche, kicked a ball, but I kicked a ball wherever I went, drove all my mum's neighbours mad. If I went to the shop, I'd kick a ball all the way there, all the way back. I'd kick a can all the way from school, and it was nearly 2 miles. And if it went under a car, I'd scoop it back out and carry on kicking a can or a stone. And me and my mate Billy, who'd spoken before, would kick this can, take turns. And we were just always like, my whole school day was revolved around football. Even at primary school, I'd turn up in the playground at 8 a.m, even though we didn't have to be until 9, just so we had the playground to ourselves for an hour. And you were only allowed to sponge football because a few windows had been broken and stuff like that. So I'd be soaking wet in December and we'd still be kicking this ball and I just always just loved it. It was a little bit of my escape really. And then I think when I was 7, my mum took me down to Edgerton Boys Club. It was called back in the day, Edgerton Youth Club now, but mum took me down there at 7, but they only had an under-9s team. But like I say, I was quite big for my age, so they let me play for the under-9s for a couple of years. Then they dropped me down to the year below, which was still a year above my age group. And I think through playing with older lads from a young age, it developed me a lot more than if I would have been at my own age group. And then I remember Mr. Ball. Remember Eric Ball?
Mr. Ball, yeah.
Yeah, the owner of Edgerton. I remember when I got to under 12s, under 13s it was, asking if I could play with my own age group because I'd now started high school and all my mates from that age group were in the team at Edgerton. So I was like, I didn't really want to play with a year above. I think I was year 7. I didn't want to play with a year 8. So I wanted to play with my own lads who were in my form and stuff. And he didn't want me to because this team were more successful than him. But I was like, yeah, but it's my mates. I'll make them better and I'll get a few more lads in. And he wouldn't have it. So another one of the parents, do you remember Darren Ingalls and Grant Ingalls? And their mum and dad were saying, oh, there's a really good team in Middlewich under 13s. Why don't you come and play for them? Because Darren's going to leave as well, because he's not happy, because Darren was playing a year above his age as well. So he refused to let me and Darren drop back down because it'd make that team weaker and he didn't think that this team had a chance. So we both went to Middlewich under 13s. I scored 102 goals in a season.
Did you know any lads at Middlewich?
Didn't know anyone. No, so it was a little bit weird, and they all went to a different high school than me. So it was a bit strange at first, but I did really well. Like I say, I scored 102 goals. We won the league, won the cup.
Somewhat good independence as well, being able to just move at that age.
Yeah.
Similar to being a footballer, isn't it? Going to a new changing room.
Yeah. To be fair, I wouldn't, if it wasn't for Darren Ingalls' mum and dad, I wouldn't have been able to do it because it was a 25-minute journey away.
And they would have given you lifts.
They were giving me lifts there and back because they were saying to me, oh, we're bringing you the best player from Edgerton. He's playing the year. So I got took there and like I say, I scored 102 goals. We won the league, won the cup. We won 5-0 in the cup final at Witton Albion. It got recorded. I scored a hat trick and it was brilliant. Second season I played for Middlewich again, won the league again. I think I scored 50 or 60.
What age are we at then now?
So under 13's the first year when I scored 102, under 14's the second year, and now I'm like...
No scouts, no trials, nothing coming up?
No, and other lads in that league were doing, and I think they had that. It wasn't like it is now where there's a lot more eyes on younger players. It was dads who knew people.
Yeah.
But I was never one of these lads who was bitter about that, and I never had the type of parents, obviously, which
loved it.
I wasn't bothered about that, and my mum would never be going, oh, why is Aaron not in it? I just enjoyed my football, but I just loved it. So, but I did get to the under-14s and think, I want to go back playing with mates now, because by now our school team was doing really well. Yeah. And if I'd have joined Edgerton, our school team would have been our Edgerton team. So Mr. Ball by this point, he's like, yeah, come back, Aaron. I went back to Edgerton under 15s. Fixtures come out. Middlewich at home, first game of the season. 2-2, 85th minute, we get a penalty. This is when I did take penalties. Yeah. And all the Middlewich lads are going, oh, miss it like you did for us last season. And I was thinking, what?
Giving you a bit of jip, like?
Yeah, and I'm thinking, what, when I scored 12 goals? I did score 12 goals in one game, but missed a penalty. And they were trying to bring that up. I said, but what about the other 12 goals? Anyway, having a bit of banter. So anyway, scored against Middlewich last 5 minutes. 1-3-2, celebrated, and we ended up winning the league. So we beat Middlewich to the league that season, which was great for Edgerton, all my mates, Mr. Ball. It was just a great feeling to come back under 15s. And that same season, with about 2 games to go when we'd already won the league, Man City spotted me. So I went to City for about 3 or 4 weeks at the end of the under 15 season and did the full under 16s at Man City, but I got spotted by a scout from Man City. Yeah,
was the scout anyone we know, or
he was called Eric Molyneux off the top of my head. Old grey-haired guy came up to me. I'd scored in a 1-1 game in a semi-final of the Cheshire Cup, and he approached me after the game and just said, "Oh, I'm a scout from Man City. I'd like you to come down." So I went down, and obviously being a City fan, it was like
Platt Lane.
Yeah,
Platt Lane. Sorry.
Platt Lane, we used to train, and we used to play at the Armitage Centre.
Armitage, Fallowfield.
Yeah. And I loved it, but I'll admit, boys, I froze a little bit. Do you know that it was like Jeff Whitley, Michael Brown, they were the year above me, and I got a little bit in awe, and like there was a few internationals who played for my age group, and I got a little bit, I didn't feel how I felt playing for Edgerton and Middlewich. I felt like nervous in training, every touch, and didn't do myself justice, to be fair. My mum had a little brown Fiesta. She used to put £2.50 petrol in every Tuesday and Thursday to get me to training and back. I was always late, which looking back now, like it's a bad, like you're playing for Man City, but it's...
Was that just a way of life? You were late?
Yeah, my mum's rushing. She's got 3-4 kids on her own because I had my younger brother Joel by now as well. So I was just grateful to get me there, but looking back, there's always traffic. Like getting to Platt Lane at 6 p.m, like you've got to give yourself an hour and a half. Yeah, you've got to give yourself an hour and a half. My mum's given herself 45 minutes thinking that's enough. So, and I'd always get there full of anxiety because the lads had already been warming up. It does. Looking back,
it would have impacted.
Yeah, and the boys used to call me early bird. Hey, here's early bird. Do you know what I mean? But the coaches must have been like, what's going on here? Like, do you know what I mean? So when they released me at the end of that season, said, we don't know if you're going to be a centre half or a striker. I don't know. Like, I remember telling it.
Why could you play centre half?
They just said because of my height, you might end up being a centre half, you might not be a forward. Okay, I was like, you read the game well, but yeah, there won't be a contract here if you are in the YTS. I was like, yeah, okay. And then all the way home, cried my eyes out. City fan, embarrassed to tell your mates and the rest of your family that you've not been took on, and I was devastated. I just went back playing for Edgerton. Just thought, like, not relieved, but I was like, well, it is what it is. Yeah, just like go back playing with mates. And then I remember, I think it was, you'd had the summer holidays, what the kids have off school. And I was going out with a girl who was still in year 11, last year of high school. I'd left school, so I was a year older. So I was going meeting her after school, kind of dossing about a little bit. And one of the old PE teachers, you boys might remember, Mr. Idden.
Yeah, I remember him.
Was it not Dutton? I thought it was...
Sorry, yeah, Mr. Dutton approached me. He came up to me. He saw me obviously hanging around school. I was like, Aaron, you still trying to get a football club? And I said, yeah. He goes, I know Joe Jacob at Stockport County. He's the youth team manager. He said, I can organise a trial for you to go down and try and earn a YTS. Like, so I said, yeah, go on then. So he wrote down his number on a piece of paper back in them days, obviously no mobile phones or anything. So I took my number, put it in my pocket or my wallet, whatever I had. And I didn't ring it for about 3 weeks because I was a little bit I didn't want to have to go through that trial situation. Yeah. So I just left it. And then it was my girlfriend at the time said, you need to ring that number, like, you need to. So I got it out, went to the phone box on Woodlands Drive, and I just put me 50p in, rang this number, and he was like, yeah, I've been expecting your call, Aaron, come down on a train, can you come in tomorrow, 9 a.m. at Edgeley Park? I was like, yeah. So I got the train from Knutsford to Stockport, walked to the stadium. I was there about 6 weeks on trial. I remember there was another lad on trials called Steve Cunliffe, a lad from Bolton, both 6'3", 6'4". We both kept thinking for the 6 weeks it was going to be one. Yeah, he was a centre mid, I was a centre forward, but we both thought they've already got 8 or 9 YTSs. They're probably only going to take one of us on, and they ended up taking us both on, which was good because we became really good mates. And yeah, joined. But I always remember my first trial game for Stockport County. We drew in Bury away 0-0, and I remember Joe Jacob going, "Who the fuck do you lot think you are?" He was like, "He's on the dole. And he ran around more than you lot. He wants it more than any of you. Don't think just because you lot have got a contract that you've made it, because that's what you've got to do." And he used me as an example, and it made me fit. It made me go from being at Man City nervous in awe of everyone to fit like
I'm up there.
If he likes work rate and hard work, I'm buzzing because that's what I'll bring. So that lifted me into the YTS, which I thought, this is positive. And obviously this was at the start of the trial, and then gave me a YTS. I think I scored 11 for the youth team that season. And then at the start of my second year YTS, Gary Megson, the first team manager, Dave Jones was the first team manager, went to Southampton. Southampton poached him. Gary Megson come in.
Yeah.
And then pre-season, Gary Megson was watching youth team training. And then he called me up training with the first team a few times, and I did really well. And then he said to me, "Aaron, why is Dave Jones not told me about you?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, usually when a gaffer leaves on good terms and gets a better job like Dave Jones has, they usually give a good pass over of all the promising young players." And he said, "And he has mentioned players in your age group and the year above, but he's never mentioned you." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know, gaffer." And he was like, "Well, I'll tell you why." He said, "Because I've heard, because Joe Jacobs gone with him," which is the guy who used me as an example. That's like, "I've heard that they want to take it to Southampton." He said, "But I'm telling you now, if you go there, you'll get lost in there. Reserves, under 21s, you'll never get near the first team until you're 22, 23, whereas you're 17 now. I'm telling you now, if you stay here, you'll be in the first team by the time you're 18, I guarantee it." And he kept to his word, and he said, "I'm going to offer you a 3-year professional deal, and we'll take you to Portugal with the first team pre-season." And then
buzzing.
I was like, so I went to Portugal with the first team, told me out there that he was going to offer me this 3-year pro. Got back, I think it was 200 quid a week, followed by 300 quid a week, followed by 400 quid a week. I was on £42.50 a week at the time as a YT.
Bonuses in goals.
I think I got £1,000 every 5 games, stuff like that, and goal bonus and stuff. And then I got back, and I remember like going into the secretary's office, and he was like, "Are you going to sign this contract then?" I was like, "Can I just ring my mum?" And he was like, "Make it quick, like, put me under a bit of pressure." Yeah. I had to borrow the phone in the office at Stockport, and I was like, "Mum,"
saying,
I was like, "Mum, they've offered me 200 quid a week, then I get 300 quid a week." She was like, "Yeah, sign it." Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'll sign it. And then it was obviously like, and I remember, so I was getting like 800 quid.
They don't give you an agent? They don't put you in touch? Nothing? Not even like Cheshire Fair or anything like that?
Nothing. Just literally sign here, and it won't last long. So if you don't sign today, it'll be gone tomorrow. Like a bit of pressure.
Tell us about how your friends, family felt about that. Any haters, lovers? What it must have been. People would have been all swarming, I'm sure.
To be fair, I've always said 50% of people are happy for you, 50% are a bit bitter towards it. But it's life of being a footballer. You've got a job that every young kid wants. I think after signing that professional contract, it was a year. I should have still been a second-year scholar. So the club told me, "You don't have to do jobs anymore. You don't have to clean boots anymore. You'll train with the first team Monday to Friday, but still play for the youth team on a Saturday." So I ended up having one of my mates as my boot boy, which they wanted to be because they knew I wouldn't moan if they were dirty and stuff. So it was a bit of banter. But the first thing I did with my first month's pay packet was take all the second year, all the second year YTSs out on a night out in Bolton. So I took them out, paid for everything, just because they're my teammates at the end of the day. And I think that's something I kept with me for the rest of my career, the fact that you've got to appreciate that it's a team game, and they'd helped me get that contract at the end of the day. And it was, I think I scored 28 goals for the youth team in that second season. Me and another lad, James Flood, who'd scored, I think, 30 goals. kept training with the first team, getting bantered off the first team, lads saying, oh yeah, it's the same 4 white lines and goals, but it's not as easy to score up here, boys, and bit of banter. And then all of a sudden, in the April at the end of that season, when I still should have been a second year YT, but I was a first year pro, Gary Megson pulled me and said, listen, I know you're a City fan. I know they released you 18 months ago, 2 years ago. I know all your family are City fans. He was like, I'm going to give you a debut against City at Main Road on Saturday. And I was just like, wow. Because I used to play for Stockport's youth team on a Saturday morning at 11 a.m. and then go across to Main Road to watch the first team. And I was still doing it when he said this to me.
Yeah.
Still a fan.
So City were in the League One now.
Championship.
Was it it was Championship, wasn't it? It was that year.
Yeah, one below Prem.
Yeah.
And Stockport actually finished 8th this season in the Championship, which is mad. And City went down to League One this season. So it was Grand National Day, 1998. I remember it was Grand National Day because it's your first experience on the team bus, and all lads were doing a £5 sweepstake and picking out a horse, and I just like a young lad just watching them all do it. And pulled up at the Man City players entrance where I used to like lean over the gates asking for
Feel special.
Oh, mad. I had to give my mum a season ticket to go and sit with my nana. And my nana and granddad had the same season tickets at Main Road for 47 years.
Wow.
So they'd alternate. So my granddad would drive me and my nana drop us off. We'd go. The following home game, my granddad would just drive me and him, and nana would stay at home. Me and my granddad would go, and we did that for like 9 seasons.
Yeah.
And obviously this season I was still doing that because I was still able to, because I was playing for the youth team in the morning, going there in the afternoon. And it always worked out that Stockport County were away because we're in the same league when City were at home because of traffic and all that. So, because if you're a YTS and Stockport are playing at home, you have to be there on duty to be ball boys, clean the corridors. So it always worked out well that I could play the youth team games, go over to Main Road. So he told me I was so I had to give my mum a season ticket while I played on the pitch. I had 33 families spread around the ground in different areas where I managed to get tickets. And the funniest thing is, I remember walking out the tunnel and warming up, and I was looking across at like players in the warm-up for City who I'm usually hanging over the tunnel asking for autographs.
Who was there? Kincardine there? No,
so Juve Rosler was there.
Goater.
Sean Goater's debut it was.
How was it?
Sean Goater's debut, my debut. Lee Bradbury. Gerard Viken, centre-half Tony Vaughan, Richard Edgill, Martin Margison was in goal, and all the lads who'd been took on by City 18 months earlier when I'd been released, seven or eight, were sat behind the dugout in the City trackers.
Still youth, not actually...
Nowhere near the first team. So it's like... I say this to young lads now when they're devastated about being released by someone. I was like, hey, this is the start of your journey. This happened to me, and this is why it's good from an agent's point of view. I can go, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done the same. I've done this. I've gone back and scored against them. So
it's probably the Rovers stuff, though.
No,
like it's like literally like that Ronaldo advert with that young lad where they literally hit each other, and you're on the pitch, but you're looking at your season ticket.
Yeah.
It's out of body experience. Magic for anyone, isn't it?
Unreal.
And the fact that Gary Megson chose to do that is because Gary Megson was a Tony Pulis type strict, bit of a nasty manager.
Yeah.
Like, so for him to go, I know they release you, I know you're a City fan, I'm going to give you David Main Road. I was like, wow. But yeah, all my family spread on the ground, and then 5 minutes in, Goater scores on his home debut. The whole stadium singing Blue Moon. I'm nearly joining in. I'm like looking around like, wow. And then straight from the kickoff, we did that old fashioned kickoff where you pass it back, boom to the winger, bit of a ricocheted into our left winger's path. He whipped it in, and I've just gone bang, left foot volley, bottom corner at the Platt Lane end. But because they've just scored, it's like 32,000 people, noises, anything, just gone, and you've heard about 1,100 Stockport
big
fans.
Celebrations, or
just ran off, not knowing what to do. Yeah. First goal in it ever on my debut. I just run off, jumping about, but everyone's jumping on me. My mum used to have the stills pictures from when I scored it with a left foot to when I'm running off, and everyone's just jumping on me, and the whole stadium's
unreal, mate.
And that was just...
How did you feel in your heart that you've just scored against City? Were you thinking, this is... I'm going to launch now. Bonus.
Yeah, no, I wasn't thinking... All I was thinking is like... wow, like I can't believe that, like, I was crying on the way home 18 months ago and now I've scored against them. The lads who were, like, it was just...
It's amazing.
That is
And
mad.
even though, like, it stayed 1-1 till about the 71st minute, and we only had 3 subs on the bench in them days, so you never had a keeper on the bench. Eric Nixon, our goalkeeper, got stretchered off for stitches, and Brett Angel had to go in goal. So I was up front on my own, just trying to waste time, because it was 1-1, it was a good result for us. I remember the ball bouncing out of play. I chased it, but it went out of play, so I just volleyed it up to the top of the plat lane. Like, and I remember loads of City fans like, you're like going mad at me. And I was like looking at it thinking, I'm blue, but I was like wasting time, whatever. But then they scored like 2 quick fire goals, I think, while Eric was off, and they beat us 4-1.
4-1.
And it was in Manchester, remember the football pink, the Manchester
Yeah.
News? Yeah. It was in the football pink, like Aaron's dream, because I'd scored, but City have still won. But it was just the maddest introduction for the career. Grand National Day.
Good night out after. Stockport, you get a free taxi ride.
I remember going back to Knutsford, me and a couple of mates, and we got in a taxi in Knutsford, and the taxi driver gave it me for free because he was a United fan. He went, scored against City today. Yeah, free taxi. And I remember that thinking, oh, that's it.
That's class.
So, good career at Stockport. To me, when I think of you playing, I just think Stockport.
8 years. 8 years, yeah.
Obviously, there was a couple of loan moves. I think was Norway, Moss, FK.
Just Norway.
Was it just Norway?
Yeah.
And then, obviously, you get your move to Hull, 100 grand. Was that the only time you got someone paid fees for you?
Well, it was undisclosed and stuff, but yeah, officially.
Peter Taylor, give Beckham his captaincy. Always get a Beckham in there, let me tell you. Why was the time right to leave Stockport? Was Stockport going down the league? 'Cause that's a good move, because I know you got your promotion your first season.
Yeah.
But Stockport always was in your heart, wasn't it?
No, do you know what? Not many people know this, but Sammy McElroy was manager, and he'd started to, like, not play me pre-season and was, like, he was sacking me off a little bit, but Colin Murphy, who'd been there with Carlton Palmer as his assistant, he'd gone to Hull with Peter Taylor, so it was him who was driving Peter Taylor to come and inquire about me, because he was like, oh, there's this young lad, Aaron Wilbraham, he's only 23, 24, he's got something, he's big, and let's get him. And Sammy McElroy at the time was half pieing me off, honestly. I was on the way out. Yeah, I just got a feeling he wasn't really having me. And then all of a sudden, when Hull inquired, he was all over me. Like, oh, you don't want to go to Hull, Albie. Like, they're in the same league as us. We're better. And I was like, no, because it's all right acting like this now. Yeah. So I pushed it a little bit, and Stockport accepted the bid. I went there, signed at the same time as Nick Barmby. So I was like I'd watched him score against Germany when he won 5-1 in the Red Cow in Knutsford, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Nick Barmby. But again, I'll be honest, at Hull, because there was 2 daily newspapers in Hull what got delivered through your door every day. Massive exposure on Hull City, massive fan base in the area, just been promoted from League 2, were expected to go up again, which we did. So it was great to get a promotion. I probably only started about 11, 12 games, but I felt, again, a little bit like I froze, because I'd been in a comfort zone at Stockport 8 years, like 16 to 24, gone to there with these big, and it was 7-8 strikers. It was like me, Nick Barmby, Johnny Walters, who ended up having a good career at Stoke with Delroy Facey, Danny Allsop, Stewie Elliott, who scored about 28 goals that season. So there was big pressure to do well.
Also, I guess you had to move there as well. So that's the first time you've moved away from home, really, isn't it? Yeah,
and there was a lot of stuff going on with Mum and my mum's boyfriend she was with at the time, and they were falling out a lot, and I was ringing my sister every day, worried about what was going on, because I'd always been in Wilmslow, 15 minutes from Knutsford, so now all of a sudden I'm like worrying about what's going on at home life. So it was my first experience, one, at being in a new dressing room, getting used to new surroundings, having to impress new fans, living away from home for the first time. And I'll admit, boys, it was a promotion season, but
a tough year.
A tough year, really. Yeah, I felt a little bit of pressure from the papers, and I actually asked the postman to stop delivering the newspapers because I was reading everything the reporters were writing and reading too much into it, and it was affecting me. And I learned, the longer I went on in my career, as long as your teammates and your gaffer's happy with you, it doesn't really matter what anyone else. And I took that on board, didn't read too much into forums and stuff after that. Never went on Twitter, Facebook or anything as a player. Probably because I was haunted a little bit by that Hull City stage. And you look back at it, it's like my first promotion. And I played nearly every game away from home and was a massive part of being
into Div 1, first promotion into Div 1.
From League, that was League 1 to Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and that was back to back for Hull. Just been invited back last year for the 20-year reunion, so it was nice actually. But yeah, and then got promoted and Peter Taylor said, listen, you've got a year left on your contract, but you're not going to play a lot. And at your age, 24, 25, you need to be playing week in, week out. And there's a few clubs ringing up about you. So for your career, Albie, I'd say you're better off going somewhere where you're going to keep playing, which was good.
He was like an England youth, wasn't he, really?
Yeah.
I think he went to Leicester, but the fact he's used his noggin there, isn't he?
Yeah.
So did the wages go up to Hull from Stockport? Was that a big one?
Not massively though.
And then what about MK? Was MK more of a strategy
It ended
decision?
up similar because I got money to leave Hull because I still had a year left and I got a good signing on for FMK, so I ended up probably roughly the same money.
Okay.
Couple of grand a week, don't mind saying it.
Yeah, good.
Not Wayne Rooney type money, but...
But you said before, so I know what a family man you are, okay? Yeah. You're the leader of the family, right? You have been, and you look after him a lot, and you say, like, your mum had a few problems with boyfriend at the time. Did that drive you as a player, or did it ever hinder you from a performance point of view? Did you have things in your mind where you should have been concentrating and it hindered, or did it think, fuck that?
No, to be fair, it drove me because, so my sisters had 4 kids, the 3 different guys. None of them are particularly decent guys. So I've always felt like I was the provider for the Christmas presents, birthday presents. I always wanted to look after family. I've took them on numerous holidays. And for me, as long as they were living well, and a story that I love what I did, which I forgot to mention in my youth growing up, which I should have done. I've mentioned my mum didn't have a lot of money, but my Nana Margaret, my mum's mum, would constantly provide great birthday presents, great Christmas presents, football boots, school shoes, Rockports for schools, Helly Hansen coats, so that I felt still the man.
Scally's when we were growing up, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. But
we look back now.
But he always says to me, I always remember you having like clean Air Max trainers. But that was down to my Nana Margaret. Yeah. But my Nana Margaret had a tough life where she had 2 daughters, my mum and my Auntie Sue. She lost my Auntie Sue through breast cancer at the age of 36. She lost a husband. She lost a mum and a brother in the space of about 7 years. And in the headstone, in the cemetery at Tabley in Knutsford, there was my mum's son. I would have had another brother, she had a cot death. So there was my mum's son, my mum's sister, and my mum's dad, which is obviously my Nana's first grandson, Nana's daughter, Nana's husband, all in the family grave. It was probably the only grave in the cemetery that didn't have a headstone. So each time my Nana Margaret bought me these Rockports, Helly Hansen's, Puma King football boots, she'd go, yeah, no problem, Aaron, but it's coming out my headstone money. Now, I've never told this story about crying, so this will be a test, but all I wanted to do, my main focus when I made it as a footballer was getting me on that headstone, because she's in her 70s now, and she's worried that she's going to pass away before she's got that headstone. So the first pro contract to sign for Stockport, I took all the Bolton lads out, but in that first year as a pro, I found out all the dates of the 3 people who were in the grave off my mum. I found out the dates they were born, dates they passed away. I found out what type of marble my Nana wanted on the headstone, grey marble. She wanted a black cross on the headstone. So I found out all these things, and I used to drive to Stockport training every day. And it was this funeral directors there. So I went in, talked about the fact that, told them the story basically. But I used to take my Nana to the flower garden, the cemetery, every Christmas Day. So every year, I'd pick her up Christmas Day morning. She'd always make a little Santa Claus and a Christmas tree, and we'd go and put it, and she'd spend a few moments speaking. And I used to do it every Christmas Day religiously. So this one year, I was like, the headstone's going to be put in for Christmas. When I take her there, I'm going to have a headstone there.
Like a surprise.
Yeah, as a surprise. Told all the Stockport lads I was doing it. They were all, that is such a nice thing, Albie. Fair play. So I arranged to have it put in Christmas Eve to make sure she wouldn't see it, because she'd walk for 3 miles from Shore Drive to Tabley Cemetery past the Heath. She'd walk with flowers, and she'd go like a few times a month. So Christmas Eve, I arranged for it to be put in. Christmas Day morning, my sister, Debs, my wife, and my elder brother Justin went ahead with a camcorder to get a reaction. I pick my nana up as normal. She's not suspecting anything. She knows I'm picking her up 9, 10 o'clock Christmas Day morning. So I pick her up. She gets in the car with little plants that she's got to put there. And she always used to look in the back to see if my mum had come. And a lot of the time, my mum wouldn't want to go because in that grave was my mum's son, a sister and a dad. And she was like, I'm not coming today. It's too upsetting. Christmas is about being happy. I'm not coming. So a lot of the time it'd been my nana. This particular time, because my mum knew the headstone was there, she came. So my nana turned round and she was just buzzing that my mum was in the car. She was, oh, your mum's come. Like I said it in front of her, oh, mum's come. Drove to Tabley. And then we walked down this column of headstones, and my nannies used to going along headstone, 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 gang. So she walks down and she's like, and I can see Debs, my sister, and Justin in the distance coming over with a camcorder, like, but she hadn't a clue that they were there. And she's going, oh, I think I've come down the wrong column. I've had a few sherries this morning. I've had two. And I'm like, no, no, it is this one then. And she goes, it's not, because look, there's no gap. And she starts turning around. I'm like, no, Nana, look, what's this one here? So she looked round, she's gone, what? And I've gone, that. She goes, I ain't got an headstone, you silly bugger. I'm like, no, look. I said, that says Sue Shanks and Tommy. And she's like, fell to her knees.
Amazing.
Best thing I ever did, honestly. And
she like happy tears, obviously.
What? So
she ran off, going, I don't believe it. Like, honestly, she ran off. She was, and it's the best thing when I talk about being a giver.
Yeah.
She always kind of, every pair of football boots, every coat, oh, it's coming out my headstone money, and I thought, you're having a headstone. And for the rest of that Christmas day, she was just like on top of the world. She was like,
you would have had some tears that day, yeah. I bet everyone.
Oh, they did. But I just remember her being buzzing for the rest of the day. She just loved, like, it was like relief.
Yeah.
Like the headstones there. Yeah. And she had something to go and, cause she'd probably go more to that flower garden than anyone else that was, in who had a headstone, whereas now she had something to go and visit, and we still go there, as you know.
What a touch, man.
Best thing I've spent my money on in my career, 100%.
Thank you for sharing that, mate.
No.
I know you've shared a lot with me.
The tears are nearly falling.
I've never
keeping them in.
Never heard, yeah.
But yeah,
legend.
No, that was a good moment for me to do, and it was
class.
That needs to be done.
Oh, mate.
She had like 3 cleaning jobs. It was like always trying to get a bit more.
Right. Nans were like that, weren't they? They always used to slip you.
Yeah, they find something, yeah.
Right, Albie. Got a few quick fire questions for you, mate.
There's not 30 of them, but...
Best player you've played with?
Best player played with, I always say 2. Wilf Sahar at Palace, because he had what you couldn't coach. Technically not the best. If you asked him to ping a ball, a crossbar 20 times, he probably did it twice. But to beat people used to ricochet off him and think it was luck. His reaction time was so good. And Wes Hoolahan at Norwich was unbelievable. He's a wizard. Yeah.
Hardest player to play against? Ever had some tough battles out there?
Gary Pallister.
Yeah.
It was difficult. Yeah. Oh. But I always say Chris Laketti, which not a lot of you would have heard of. He was a Preston Bury centre-half in the lower leagues, and I always found it so tough against him. Didn't lose a header. He put his studs down your back as he headed it. It was just a horrible player.
So was it the big centre-backs, like Pally's a big, strong centre-back? It's those ones, like his old man, for example, that would have been a tough one for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. I always say Sol Campbell, Vincent Kompany, Gary Pallister, Chris Laketti. And I give Chris Laketti the mention because he never had the careers that the other 3 had.
Yeah.
But he was tough and solid, and I always found it really hard playing against him.
Love it, mate. Love it. Best player of all time in your eyes?
Paul Gascoigne, best player I played against. We got a little... That one.
Class, mate.
But...
That's unreal.
I idolised Dennis Bergkamp growing up because he was
elegant.
big. He was big and aggressive, but he had an elegant side, a touch, and vision to bring people. And he wasn't the quickest, which I wasn't either. So
he had some touch though, didn't he?
But he had a bit of it. But he had a little stamp in the lock and a little aggression, a little elbow, which I liked because he was fancy, but with a bit of grit about
it. He was better than Cantona, him.
Whoa, probably
very similar. Like,
probably did it for a longer period, and internationally as well. Oh, yeah, both good players, obviously.
I like it. Best friend in football?
Best friend in football?
Made a few, I guess.
Yeah, a lot. Do you know what? Sam Baldock probably played him at MK Dons. and Bristol City. Good lad, great striker, great strike partner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it. Favourite strike partner?
Do you know what? Chef Kikuchi at Stockport County.
Yeah.
He had a mad celebration in proper winded.
Yeah,
he should just
but
flatten himself on the turn.
He was a Kosovan refugee. He was 6'5", built like a bus, and me and him just used to. But I still meet players now who go, I remember playing against you and Shefke, that Stockport County team, and he was just an animal, but a gentle giant, a top lad. And County used to sing, there's Shefke and there's Albi, and there's Shefke, the County family. But no, it was a County family. But no, he was just a top lad. Yeah, best strike partner.
That's a handful, isn't it, playing against them too?
Oh, it's not an easy day at the office. We're definitely getting a blister there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, hard work. If you could relive one football match you've played in, which would it be? There's some good games there, isn't there?
The debut against Man City, or the Bolton goal to keep Bolton up on the last day of the season. Yeah, one of them two. The playoff final at Palace, I should have had a hat-trick, so maybe that one and scored them three.
I like it, yeah. Best manager you've ever played under?
I can't ever decide between the two. It's Paul Lambert at Norwich. He gave me my first chance in the Premier League, took a gamble on me being a 31-year-old MK Dons striker, but also Steve Cottrell signed me for Bristol City at 34, nearly 35. Fans moaned that we're signing a 35-year-old to get promoted back to the Championship, and he pulled me and said, have you ever scored 20 goals in a season? I said, no. He said, you will do this season. Scored 21, became captain, won the league. So Steve Cottrell and Paul Lambert are always on a par for me.
He must have just built you up to just like...
Yeah, again, it's that belief that when a manager puts that belief in you, it makes you feel top fit tall.
Yeah. Most famous person in your phone book?
Say Liam Battersby.
Yeah, I was gonna.
It don't have to be.
I was gonna say. So Jane Danson, my wife's best friend, aka Liam Battersby off Coronation Street, probably most famous non-football person. I've probably got everyone's number that I've played with over the years for 24 years. So there's a lot of footballers in there as well. But yeah, most famous non-footballer, Jane.
I like it. Favourite music artist?
Drake. Always liked a little bit of Drake. I've seen him 3 or 4 times live. Yeah, like Drake.
And that's what you copy your beard on.
Yeah, when I used to have the salt and pepper fringe as well. Me and Drake.
Good days, yeah. Favourite boxer?
Favourite boxer? Box set?
Set.
Yeah.
I thought I said boxer. Favourite box set? It's a good question, that, you know. One Tree Hill, back in the days. Anyone watch that?
Wow, that's going back.
I was OC guy.
Big OC.
Yeah, the OC. I like the OC as well, but One Tree Hill.
Creek sort of era, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was mint.
Favourite film?
Favourite film? Sleepers.
Yeah.
Good
See that?
film.
Yeah, good film, good movie. Favourite holiday destination?
Vegas.
Been there a few times.
14 years on the bounce with the boys.
Are you going to go again?
Got to get the 15th in at some point.
Favourite meal?
Favourite meal?
Health.
Chinese, sweet and sour chicken, salt and pepper chips, egg fried rice, portion of curry sauce on the side.
Is that one, is it? If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be? Oh, you've had a good career, mind.
No, but more just... It's a difficult one, that, because
have to be about football.
No, I'd just say, I think I used to look at the Premier League and Match of the Day as a million miles away, like, to get, like,
Yeah.
whereas it's people don't realise how close they can get to something. It's the old cliche, but just keep believing, because you're not far away from, like, where you want it. You just got to work as hard as you can to get where you want to get. But yeah.
Just on that, do you think there's still, let's say you Jamie Vardy's, we were talking about, I think, Ezzy the other day, do you think it's still a chance for young footballers who are 19, 20, playing semi-pro to still have that dream? Or do you think that is going out the window now?
No, I think it is. I think what I'm touching on there is the fact that I froze a couple of times when it's a City, I froze at Hull. But the fact that I wasn't the type of person to bowl in them places and give it like I'd cracked it probably is why I did make it, because I went through them experiences of not being the big fish and had to earn the right. So I wouldn't really give myself that advice, because I think I had to go through that adversity to get where I got to in the end. So it's a difficult one, because you're thinking, Obviously, I think, could I have been a bit better professional in my younger years? I think in a way, as well as I did to play till 40 and have the Premier League thing after the age of 30, that couldn't have happened. Then I would have been a bit regretful that I wasn't like the Ronaldo dedication. I had the Ronaldo dedication 31 to 40, but who's to say I should have been given that 90? So I wish I would have had that from 18 to 30.
I like it, that's decent. Favourite sport outside of football?
Definitely paddle.
Yeah.
Fastest growing sport in the world. Next Olympics. I might be there.
No golf or nothing like that? Not a golfer?
I do like golf, but it takes up too much time in my day. Paddle's 90 minutes, there and back, done.
Favourite stadium? I know we touched on it before. Favourite stadium you've played in? Was it OT?
Played at Wembley 3 times, won all 3 games, never walked up the loser's steps. The fact that when you do walk up the winner's steps, the new Wembley, when you walk up them winner's steps and you've all got the scarves and the hats on, you're banging on the steel roof and all like ready to lift the trophy, you look back at them lads on the pitch who've just lost, looking up, and you think, I never want to be that guy. Luckily I wasn't.
We can hold the question here. We can look at some of your medals.
Yeah.
If that's all right. A few of them.
Got a good old handful of them there.
Few here. Just quickly, we've got the Football League. Is that the runners-up? That's Hull.
I think that looks so old that might have been Hull. Yeah. That what you said?
Yeah.
2004 to 2004, 2005. That's the Hull City runners-up.
You got 07. Is that MK Dons into League One from League Two?
That's the champions of League Two. Was that Paul Ince was manager then?
MK Ince.
Ince.
I think you won the Johnson Paint.
So that was the first time at Wembley.
So that is a double winning season, like you did at Bristol.
Fuming at Paul Ince. Scored 3 and 3 going into that game. Dropped me for Wembley. Played me in the next 3 games. Didn't sulk. Scored another 3 and 3. So scored 6 and 6 either side of Wembley. But I never forgave him for that. Because my first time at Wembley.
Has he ever apologised?
Well, the funny thing what happened is,
the governor.
Should be apologising him.
The funniest thing what happened, and he'll laugh about this, is years later, so that was 2007. In 2013, I played with Tom Ince, Paul's son, and he saw that Tom wasn't named on the bench at Newcastle away in the Premier League, and I wasn't named even. Tony Pulis used to take the whole 25-man squad. It was a killer, because you'd have 11 starting, 7 on the bench, and 7 sat in the stands with head loss. And I was sat next to Tom on the Newcastle benches, and I saw Dad ringing on Tom's phone. So Tom answered it. He's like, "Hi, Dad." He's like, and I could hear him going, "Not on the bench again." I said, "Joke. You're meant to be using Palace as a stepping stone. You're meant to be further in your career. What's he doing?"
That lucky, weren't they?
So I was like,
Gives the phone.
So I give him the phone, and I was like, "All right, Gaffer, it's Albie." He's like, Albie." I said, "What's up?" He said, "Tom's not on the bench." He said, "Joke." I said, "Yeah, it's like when you didn't put me in the team at Wembley." So I just started, "Oh, you're still holding that against me, Albie?" And I had a bit of banter with him about it and stuff. But it was just, remember Kevin Gallen, the striker?
Was he at QPR?
Yeah. He was at MK at the time. And I understand now, they thought it might be his last chance to play at Wembley, so that he was like 36 or whatever. So they gave it. But for me, I had all my family there. And I was top goal scorer and we were top of the league. So I deserved to play. Yeah. That was the thing. And I still went on to play the rest of the season. We won the league and all that. But I wasn't to know at that point. Sorry, I keep tapping the table, Joe. I wasn't to know at that point that I was going to play there another 2 times.
Should have tried to squeeze his boat in, really.
Same trophy, but this is a great year. Bristol, 14-15, Johnson's Paint Trophy. Great. That was just, because we're not going to go through every team, but from a Bristol City point of view, I'd say your best.
My favourite.
The lads there.
Love it down at Bristol.
My favourite club, like, obviously getting to the Premier League with Norwich and Palace was unbelievable. But in terms of my favourite club, I'll always say Bristol City, because signed there at 34, nearly 35. A lot of fans said, "Oh, why are we signing a 35-year-old when we want to get promoted back to the Championship?" Steve Cottrell believed in me, said I'd score over 20 goals. I did do, and managed to become captain, scored 21 goals, won the league and won that trophy, like you say, and just felt a massive part of it.
Best money?
At Bristol City, probably Norwich, Palace and Bristol City on a par, to be fair. But yeah, because I was playing every week, scoring bonus-wise.
I remember when you went there, to be fair, because that's like, we've got Exeter City one side, that's like the local team, or Bristol City or Rovers, so we have a lot of Bristol City lads that support.
I just remember that.
I remember him being from our school, so yeah.
The banter in that team, because obviously, like, I think you've been in MK for quite a bit, and Norwich, and then you were, for some reason, we started speaking more, and I just remember got to meet a few of them lads like your Flinties, your Marlon Packs, your Joe Bryans, Bobby Reeds, all them players who have gone on to do good things. But I think a lot of that changing room banter you probably created has gone on to do that. You know, they loved the Zezes on a Friday before the game, didn't you?
No, it was a great group. I think in terms of successful seasons, I was lucky to have 5 promotions with 5 different teams. And you always have that bond because everything goes well, like you celebrate. But that Bristol City team, we've still got the group chat going now. It's still spoken on a weekly basis. Obviously goes quiet for a little bit here and there. Everybody's gone on to have really good careers. Luke Ayling at Leeds United, now at Middlesbrough.
Is he still at Borough?
Is at Middlesbrough, yeah. Bobby Reed doing really well at Leicester. You've got Derek Williams come back from America, signed for Reading. Flint is at Walsall. Corey Smith's at Cambridge, but Marlon Packs at Portsmouth. Everybody's still doing really well still. And I was like the daddy of that group. And I quite enjoy looking at them all in the 30s now seeing how hard they find it going. I was 3 years older than you when I signed for you as your captain that season. We won the league.
Signed a few of them up for the agency.
Yeah.
There's your league winners medal, I think.
So that's probably my proudest because I was captain and had my best ever goal scoring season and felt massive part of it. Which is why
you got this.
I nicked this. Still sealed.
Nicked.
We all obviously sprayed a load of them on the day, but there was probably 50 and I just put one in my kit bag and kept that one.
Love that, mate.
And then we've got runners up 10, 11. That was the Norwich.
So that was
into the Prem, was it?
Norwich into the Prem, which obviously great feeling. 31, you think your chance has gone to playing in the Premier League. So, and that was the Aguero season, which we'll get in there.
And then this one, I'd say, is pretty monumental. This is the Crystal Palace promotion 2012-13. They've not done bad since that year.
Yeah, again,
120 minutes.
Yeah, again, didn't play a lot that season. Glenn Murray was on fire, scored 32 goals, and we only played one up top with Yannick Bolasie and Wilf Sahari beside. So kept myself fit, was going in on days off with fitness coaches thinking I might get a chance. Glenn did his cruise shirt in the first playoff game, so I ended up playing the rest of that playoff game. 0-0 against Brighton. The away leg against Brighton beat them 2-0. Wilf Sahar scored 2. And then we beat Watford in the final 1-0. Do you remember the Troy Deeney goal when Knockout misses the penalty? They go down the end. Goal, We then played Watford. Obviously, they had a lot of emotion in that semi-final to come and play us in the final. But played the full 120 minutes, red hot day. Probably the most expensive game to play in the league to get to the Premier League, and probably the best way to do it.
Yeah. And obviously, Kevin Phillips scored the penalty.
Yeah.
If they'd have said, Albie, come on. As a non-penalty guy, apparently, how confident would you have been to
be fair, that day, Almunia, the old Arsenal goalkeeper, was in goal for Watford, and he had me on toast. I missed 3 one-on-ones, like chances that I should easily be burying. And he just kept saving everything. And so I definitely would have refused if they
must have took him in training.
Penalties only when there was shootouts because the managers would make you practice. They'd go, listen lads, it could go to penalties, so we do them then. But
what would you have been if you weren't a footballer?
A cannon.
You are a cannon.
No, hopefully something in sport. I always had a PE teacher I'd like, just something. I was
Jimmy Grimble style one.
Yeah.
Is there any teams you would have liked to have played for that you haven't?
Apart from City, no City.
Yeah, obviously City, but no, I'm quite happy. Like the clubs I had, and this isn't an essay, but this is a stat that I love. And I'm not being big-headed here, by the way. It's just a nice little stat. I had 8 clubs in my career. I got promoted with 5 of them, and the 3 I didn't get promoted with all got relegated the season after I left. I'm not saying I'm the glue in the dressing room, but it's not a bad stat.
Gary Barlow or Robbie Williams?
Ooh, Robbie Williams. Bit more of a cannon. Bit more.
Did you have an initiation song?
Yeah.
go to, like, just every time?
Always, yeah. I did Oasis on my first one. It didn't go down well.
Which one?
Wonderwall, but it's quite hard to, it's a bit one tone.
Do you fancy a bash in a bit?
Yeah, I'll have a go on a bit. But my go-to was the Drake rap at the start of Rihanna Drake, What's My Name? So it'd go, I hear you good with them soft lips. Don't you know word of mouth? The square root of 69 is 8 something, right? But I'm trying to work it out. And I'd just do that. But I'd put a hat on, sunglasses, and then at the end I'd go, oh, nah, nah. And that'd be, and then the boys would just start laughing.
You can get it over easy then, can't you?
Because you've got to do something. I used to walk in like, I hear you good with like, and the old boys would be like just burst out laughing. So you've got them on side straight away. And then the end bit would just be, oh, nah, nah. And like do a little dance and it'd be done. So yeah, that always went down well.
Nice. Who's the funniest person in football that you've met?
Lee Tomlin, 100%. He's Morecambe assistant manager now.
Is he? Yeah, I was going to say.
Just the funniest lad. On a night, he will do anything on a night out. Just on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
He's just quick, banter. Yeah, definitely Lee Tomlin.
It's got favourite kitman.
Favourite kitman? Ooh. Had some good kitman. Philip Tart, Bristol City.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Is that the guy who got the beard dark?
No, that's Scotty Murray.
Right.
It's Scotty's assistant. Scotty's a great guy as well, by the way. There's Huddy and Hawkey, Andy, MK, there's loads. Bishop, Stockport, but I've got to choose Tarty for obvious reasons.
Favourite physio?
Matty Barras, Bolton. Great guy. Yeah. Great guy. Professional, but got the mix between not taking himself too serious. Really good physio, but can have the banter with lads, but will get you fit and you respect him because he's firm but fair and makes you do the work to get back to where you want to get.
Last one, night out or night in?
That's a silly question, really, isn't it?
Silly that. Always loved a night out. Did it at the right times. Wouldn't really go out if there was a Tuesday game, but if there was no game midweek, Saturday night, I would have a shenanigan planned. I'd play better when I had a shenanigan planned.
Really?
If I went into a game, Plymouth away, when there was a Tuesday game after it, I knew I was going to be back at 11, 12 p.m. Like, I'd be a bit down. Whereas if I had a night out to go to afterwards, I'd be on a high. And the amount of times I scored or played well when I had, so I lived for the. People used to call me Van Wilder, party liaison. Like I used to. I was called Van Wilder by all the Palace lads. I'm well known. I organised all the Vegas trips, and and I've had footballers, I won't mention them, but I've had footballers who've retired now say to me, they wish they would have enjoyed it a bit more when they played because they were a bit too more focused on improving and being serious and doing all the right things that they forgot to enjoy it. And now they look back at other footballers and think should have enjoyed it. And I always made sure I enjoyed it. But I honestly think that is through losing my mum and dad at such an early age. Yeah. The fact that my mum's quote says, if you're still breathing and you wake up in the morning, get on with it. I know you could be dead tomorrow. So I was like, we're doing it. I'd never say no to any shenanigan because I know it probably hindered me training for a few days, but it's important to have a nice life as well as balance that you talk about. So
as a passionate man who can have a temper if you need to, what gets you angry these days?
I think just lack of effort, really. I think when I was a elder pro at Bolton, there was a young lad. He won't name me naming him because I laugh about with him now. Jeff King. He was 19. I was 38. We're doing pre-season runs, and it was every line and back for the whole pitch, and he kept cutting 2 yards short. And I let him do it for the first 3 runs. And when he did it on the 4th, I just exploded and I was like, Kingy, get to the fucking line. I was like, I'm 38. I'm double your age. Don't fucking cheat. And it was a little bit like that. So I never liked that. My mum was a bit of a stickler for the rules in board games and stuff. And I think I've got it off her that it has to be fair and a bit like cheat proofing games and stuff like that. So I'm a bit like, if people.
You're super competitive though.
Yeah, I am.
I've never met anyone that competitive.
But I said in my wedding speech, for everybody who I beat at Monopoly and on FIFA and card games, don't hate the player, hate his mum. Because it was for my mum. Because my mum was so competitive for anything, game of marbles. She's like, She'd get so like that, and we used to laugh at her for it on Christmas Day and stuff, but 100% where I get it from.
Nice. So now and again you do a bit of, you're retired, you will still go and visit certain old clubs you played for, maybe do like an evening or a charity event or some commentary you've done. Have you had any other offers, like outside of football, like
The Jungle.
the Jungle, Big Brother, your fame's big, or can you go and, because you've done Knutsford Christmas lights, what was it you said, famous?
No, turn the Christmas lights on, and not so happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
You said you put a few lights out over the years.
Nice to turn a few on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had any non-football related offers?
Not really, to be fair. Just obviously Granada tonight, like Northwest kind of football shows, EFL stuff, Sky Sports kind of thing, but nothing permanent. Just to come in and sort of
Right,
things like that. I've enjoyed it, but
Big Brother, Strictly, The Jungle, which one would you do?
couldn't do Jungle because the eating challenges and even just everything caught. I'm a bit like with spiders and stuff, so I would, and not being able to eat as well because I get a bit hungry. Not Strictly because I'm not the best dancer. Big Brother, yeah.
You like a chill?
Big Brother, yeah, probably.
Okay. All right then. Most famous you've ever felt? Have you ever felt? Oh, hang on, I'm pretty well known here. What was it?
When there was when we were top of the league in Bristol, there was a billboard massive in the city centre, and it had me celebrating a goal, and it had more goals than Rooney. Because I think at the time, wait, there's Marcus Bones just rang that.
Just press me watch, mate.
Yeah,
Just
he's
press
not-
me watch, sorry.
yeah.
Can I ask that question again?
When have you felt most famous?
I think when I played for Bristol, and we were top of the league and I'd scored a few goals, there was a massive billboard in the centre of Bristol city centre, which is where I lived. Wasn't even aware it was there. I walked past one day and it was like massive, and it had a picture of me celebrating and big capital letters saying more goals than Rooney, because I think Rooney was the most famous player in the Premier League at that point, and I'd scored 7 more goals than him at that point. So that was like, I had a little picture next to it and stuff.
Nice. And obviously, speaking of fame, you know, we don't need to touch upon your MK, your Bristol. You know, you've spoken about that quite a lot on different podcasts, but we can't do this podcast without you talking about keeping Bolton Wanderers up with that header. Just quickly tell me about that feeling. Does that stay with you?
Yeah, I think the Bolton thing was, again, signing for a club at you're 38, the fans are questioning it, but at the time Bolton were in administration, so it was a little bit like they had to take what they could get, and I knew that they couldn't sign anyone, but they could take people on free contracts, and I'd had a gentleman's agreement with Lee Johnson. If anything came up north, I could join it. So to get a championship club at the age of 38, I was buzzing. Didn't play a lot. Gary Medine was on fire that season, got a £6 million move to Cardiff in the January, which is, I thought, right, we've been in the bottom 3 all season. I'll get a bit more of a chance now. Still didn't really play me, chose to go with one up front, and then on the last game of the season, when we'd been beat by Burton away 2-0, and it was like doom and gloom, second from bottom, like not really a chance of staying up, because we needed Barnsley and Burton to get beat, not just a draw. Like, they had to both get beat, and we had to beat Nottingham Forest, who were quite high up, just to have a chance of staying up. So it was a bit like, no chance. Even we as players just were like, even if we get the win, we hadn't scored in our run of game. So it was like, well, anyway, Phil Parkerton pulls at the start of the week and names the team, and I'm playing. And even I'm like, what? Because he dropped Adam Lafondra as our top goal scorer. So I'm like, what's this about? And then he said, oh, if you win this game, lads, you'll save everybody's jobs,
wages,
the catering staff, the groundsman, everybody. So we focused on the game, and I just thought, you know what? It's my last game for Bolton. I knew I wasn't going to stay there. And all week I was like that to Debs and Ashley and my wife and daughter, like, imagine if I score the winner, imagine if I score the winner. I was like, if I do, I'm going to take my top off. And Debs was like, don't be doing that. You're 38 years of age, kind of bantering me. And it was Knutsford May Day the day before. And I was walking around Knutsford watching the parade with a massive bottle of Evian water, and everyone was going, not got a game today. I was like, no, it's tomorrow, last game of the season. We need to win to stay up. I'm starting. And they were like, oh, good luck. Imagine you score the winner. And loads of people are like, so I started visioning it. And I kept saying, I'm going to score the winner, you know. And I proper envisioned me scoring the winner. And then, first half, 0-0 at half time. I'd hit the bar, I'd had a disallowed goal, I was playing well. I knew I was causing Forest problems, but they were trying so hard, Forest. And I knew Lee Tomlin, the funniest guy in football, I'd said to him, like, Tomo, why are you trying so hard? He was like, mate, our gaffer's best mates with the Barnsley manager. He said, if we don't win today, we're in all week. Like, we're not getting... He was like, he's had us in all week doing shape and everything. I was like, so they were running around like mad, trying so hard. Anyway, 0-0 at half time. I'm not a religious person. I believe people look down on you and look after you, as my family have done and passed away over the years. But I was washing my face in the bathroom and I looked in the, like, mirror and was like, Dad, Nana, my Nana Margaret, who spoke about, Dad, I need you. Come on. I want to score, blah, blah. Anyway, Adam Lafondra comes on up front with me, scores, puts us 1-0 up. I'm like, buzzing. 65th minute something. 73rd minute, Ben Osborne scores for Forest, 1-1. Then they score again, 2-1. So 2-1 down, 4 minutes to go. David Wheater bobbles an equaliser in. But I'm thinking the whole time, this isn't over yet. My time's coming, and I've never envisioned it like this. And then it's just like slow motion when it happened. I think it was a long goal kick, a flick on from Carl Henry, and Adam Lafondra's running to try and keep it from going out of play. And I'd played with Alfie, Adam Lafondra, at Stockport as a young lad, and now obviously at Bolton all season. And because he was running on to try and keep it in, I thought it's not really going to be a stand-up cross. It's going to be like a whip. Yeah, like a just whip. So I remember like having a little, when you see the goal, I'm in a lot of space, so I look round for someone as to say, someone must be getting inside me now, and the defender's sprinting back inside me. And it's like I almost let him think he's got a good position. But then as he looks where I am and looks back at the ball, I then decide to go across him. The cross comes that I'm expecting, but it felt like about 20 seconds for it to come. And I knew I'd gone past the front post, so I had to kind of glide. I had to spin my whole body, which at the age of 38, nearly 39, ain't easy. And just because I knew I'd gone past the front post, I had to guide it back that way. And obviously, it felt slow motion coming to me, but then the wait for it to go into the goal, and then it was just eruption.
Warm day. Was it hard the last few minutes to see that out?
Yeah, because Forest were on us and they had a big support behind the ground, and Forest were singing to us 5 minutes earlier going down and all that, and we couldn't tell if the other teams were losing, but we felt by the reaction in the ground, the sense that we got that they must be, because they wouldn't be this excited. And then it was just about holding out, and it seemed to play so much injury time. It was the best booking I ever got, because I got booked for taking my shirt off, obviously. I told Debs I would, and I did. And then when the final whistle went, I just remember looking over at the benches and thinking, like, have we done it? Because people were still like, you could see people like,
just eruption.
Yeah, and then I looked over my shoulder and it was just like 5,000 Bolton fans running cars and like stampede.
Class,
Amazing. Proper.
Best goal ever scored.
Best goal ever scored.
100%.
And a bit of a hero on them parts still, I guess. That guy one guy got a tattoo of his face on it. On it, he said it on Twitter.
Yeah.
But we've kind of talked your career, amazing career. Like we said earlier, Roy of the Rovers stuff, Albie, what you've done, like really is like a story. Let's just touch on being a number 2, being a coach with Steve Cottrell at Shrewsbury. How did that feel? How was that experience? What was different to being a player?
Yeah, just like got offered the job in lockdown. Steve Cottrell, I was his captain at Bristol City, we won the league together, had good success, and he just said, listen, what are you doing? He's still looking to play. I want you to be my assistant. I know you've done no coaching, but you can learn on the job. And I went in there for 18 days. We got off to a terrific start. The gaffer got manager in a month, and then he got hospitalised with COVID. Ended up taking over for 4 months. So I got thrown into it. Middle of the transfer window, 2 press conferences twice a week, Saturday, Tuesday games. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Just loved it. Had a good relationship with the players. When I went into Shrewsbury, I'd played with 5 of the lads. So straight away, I knew they were saying to the other lads, Albie's a good lad, by the way. He's not like a snake. And I'd see him out on nights out and stuff, but I was never going to be the type of assistant to run back and tell Steve Cottrell they're out. I liked to know out, and I played. And yeah, I just had a good relationship with the lads. I was like one of the boys. I'd be playing darts in the changing room with the lads. And the gaffer would go, is my assistant manager anywhere? Like, no, when I was in there playing darts, and I'd like, see you later, lads, I'll have to go. Got a meeting. But I used to not like coaches who went from playing to coaching.
To just being a coach, yeah.
Yeah, no, but they changed. Like, they acted different. Yeah. Why do you have to act different? You're still the same person.
One of the boys,
you don't
the boys.
Yeah.
You've kind of taken that into your agency world as well, haven't you?
And I get there's a little bit of seriousness that beats that, but the lads knew I was serious, and I was always good cop because Steve Cottrell was very like firm and like strict. I was good cop, but now and again I had to let my angry side come out if people were taking the piss a little bit. So.
Got you. And obviously you did take over that one game. You were when playing Liverpool, was it FA Cup?
Yeah.
How did it feel to be a number one?
Yeah, no, so it was Southampton in the FA Cup, but we also played Liverpool in the FA Cup at Anfield. It was Klopp's first game back from COVID. But yeah, no, to be the number one, it was a crazy, surreal experience because it was in lockdown, no fans. I used to have AirPods in because the gaffer was watching from his hospital bed on iFollow.
Madness.
So he'd be ringing me going like, have we cleared that corner, yeah? Because he was a minute and a half behind. I'm like, yeah, we've got a corner now, sweet. So that was a strange experience. But no, I did enjoy it, but it was the fact that to try and break through as a manager at that level is so difficult. You've got your merry-go-round of like your Carl Robinsons, Michael Appletons, and everybody who's been in the game for so long. And even if you look at the two promotion championship managers last year, Scott Parker and Daniel Fark, Leeds, and as soon as they got promoted, they were questioning whether they should be sacked and getting another manager. And it's like so cut. And I think because I'd had 24 years as a player, 3 years as assistant, I was just ready for a change, and that's why I came onto the side of it.
Okay. Well, final thing from Macca and Beats on the coaching element is when Cottrell left the club, is there never the option for the number two to stay on, or you naturally go with a manager when the manager goes?
Yeah, to be fair, the gaffer left in the May, and the club kind of left me for the whole of May and June and didn't really say anything. So it was a bit disappointing because there was never any contact. And then all of a sudden I just got an email saying like future and, we need to have a talk about your future and how it may look. And it was just a little bit disappointing that they did it over email. They maybe could have come to me because I would have been willing to take the job, and I'm sure Steve Cottrell would have gone, yeah, give it a go. But that never happened, so you just have to move on.
What's next for Albie then? Obviously, you've told us you got your agency career. Is there anything you want to try and do? Anywhere you want to visit? Anything different? Anything you can tell us?
Yeah, I just want to be successful on this side of the game. I think I've got a lot to offer for lads. I think any lad who comes with me and signs up with me will have an honest mentor, will have someone who's going to fight the corner, someone who's going to work hard for him, someone who's never going to let him down, someone who, if they get injured or released from a club, is ever going to forget about them, because I never would do that. I've seen that happen to players that I've played with. So I think you're just getting an honest person. And I think I want to do that because I don't think that I really had that during my career, or there's many agents around who've had the football career. And you have to be a certain type of character to be an agent. I think when you talk about me coaching and being an agent, if you ask me to go and coach Man City tomorrow and put a session on, I'd be nervous that like Haaland, Bernardo Silva, and Rodri are what the fuck's this? Do you know what I mean? But if you ask me to go and speak about Bernardo Silva's new deal with Pep, I'd have no problem bowling in the room and sitting down with Pep and speaking about that and fighting Bernardo's corner that he deserves it. So you got to be a different type of character. I think everybody likes the idea of being a coach, likes the idea of being an agent, likes the idea of being a manager. But it's what type of personality you are and what you can bring.
Could you afford to retire now?
No, I never earn the Prem dog money. Do you know what I mean? I earn a good amount of money at the end of my career, which enabled me to pretty much pay off the house that I live in, which is great. And that's all I ever wanted from the start of my career, to be able to. So your mortgage is always your biggest payment, and to be able to be financially secure on that side of things
is lovely.
Is great, because then everything else, you're paying your bills, you're still able to have a nice life, enjoy meals out, and that's all. That's okay. As long as I can treat my family to nice presents at Christmas, birthdays, have a few meals out, few nights out, not have to turn things down because I've got no money, then I'm happy. But now it's about, on this side of it now, the money I want to earn now is to still do nice things for people, for my family, to take them on nice holidays and stuff like that. So that's the motivation for me now.
Okay. And I think we were talking the other night about your dad, How does it work with pensions when you were a professional footballer? Do you have things in place that are going to kick in at any point?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to be in the pension scheme where you could get it at 35, which I never did at 35 because the longer you didn't take it while you were still a player, the PFA would still put money in, so it made sense to leave it until you had to take it. So I waited until lockdown when there was no money coming in and I wanted to rent it. We were looking at moving house, but every house we were looking at was going to be another 300-400 grand on the mortgage, as well as the stamp duty that he'll then pay. And I decided to take mine out to do up the house, to do the bar, to do stuff like that, because I didn't want to save it for a rainy day after what's happened to my family in the past. I wanted to provide a nice house for my family to live in, and I ended up renovating the house with my pension pot. And then I think there's some more that I'll get at 55, but it's not amazing money, but it'll help when it gets to that. And it's not far off now, to be fair, 9 years away.
Jesus.
So
here's one for you. What would a prime Aaron Wilbraham be worth in today's game?
a lot of people, and Colin, the owner of the company, keeps saying this. He was like, you must be fuming. You must be fuming looking around like the big strikers that are about now and the money they get. But in a way I'm not, because I look at the likes of your dad and the likes of those type of players from that era, which wouldn't have earned the money that they deserve to earn. So I think it's a knock-on effect, and it's always going to happen. There's no point in being bitter or upset about that, because, and I think the thing I'll always have on my side is the fact that at the age of 31, 32, when I thought I was going to start doing that, I had 9 years of actually played at a higher level and earned better money from 31 to 40 than I did 18 to 30, which is never usually the case. So I'll never have any regrets because of those 9 years I had at the end. If I'd have fizzled out at MK Dons at 32, 33, I'd look back now and think...
You might not have been in the agency route because your career might have to got a job out of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Probably wouldn't have got the manager's offer because that happened after the age, the Steve Cottrell connection happened after 34, 35. So yeah, no, I think it was just, I think never having any regrets. But yeah, I don't have any regrets about my career because of where I got to with it. Perfectly.
Well, on behalf of us both,
massive thank you from us.
Thank you so much, Albie. Amazing to go through that stuff. Obviously, we've spoke before. You've told us a lot of that, but you've shared a lot with us. So thank you for coming on.
No, cheers, boys.
What a career, what a bloke.
No, you've done well, boys. And
hopefully you'll come on again. Of course. You can pick the topics this time.
Reunion.
Yeah, no problem. I've enjoyed it, boys. Thanks for coming.